So the absorption is carried out by sodium amino acid co-transport mechanism. And as we have discussed in our carbohydrate metabolism, the absorption of the carbohydrates, we know that the transporter for glucose and galactose is the same, right? Sodium, glucose, or galactose. Galactose is having a greater preference when compared to that of glucose, right? So if glucose and galactose are present at the same time, then what happens? The sodium carbohydrate or sodium monosaccharide co-transporter, the galactose, picks the galactose first. Then it is taken into the intestinal epithelial cells, right? So the absorption is happening in such a manner. In the case of amino acids also, what is happening? The sodium amino acid co-transporter is there rather than sodium sugar co-transporter. So the amino acids will be coming and getting bound to the amino acid binding site of the co-transporter, followed by the binding of the sodium, and they will be taken into the intestinal cell, releasing the amino acids and the sodium, right? So that is how the absorption is taking place. And we know that the amino acids are of different types based on their chemical structure. There are 21 different amino acids, and because same reason, the transporters are also different in nature. That is, there are 5 different co-transporters based on the type of the amino acid which is getting picked up, right? So there is the acidic amino acids are picked up by one type of trans. These are the 5 different transporters. There is the one which is transporting the neutral amino acids. It's not the same for the large neutral amino acids. What do you mean by neutral amino acid? Which is an amino acid which is having a single amino group and a single carboxyl group. Such amino acids we call this neutral amino acids. For example, glycine, cysteine, right? Such examples, alanine, etc. All those are neutral amino acids because they are having only a single carboxyl group and a single amino group. Or they will be having an alpha carboxyl group and alpha amino group. Such amino acids we call it as a neutral amino acids. And that too, the transporter for carrying the or absorbing the small amino acids, small neutral amino acids, is different from that of large neutral amino acids. So there are 2 different transporters for neutral amino acids itself. Small amino acids which are neutral in nature are carried out by one co-transporter, while the large molecules, large amino acids which are belong to the same category, the neutral amino acids, will be carried out by an entirely different co-transporter mechanism. And there is a third one. That is the basic amino acids like lysine, arginine, methionine, etc. transported by another transporter which is solely for or which is specific for basic amino acids. So similarly, acidic amino acids like aspartic acid, glutamic acid, etc. transported by another co-transporter. And there is an entirely different amino transporter for amino acid. Amino acid means proline is an amino acid. It is not an amino acid, right? So amino acid and glycine is transported by yet another transport mechanism, right? So these are the different transporters involved in the absorption of amino acid transport. And the neutral amino alanine, serine, and threonine is transported by this one. And the defect in the transporter results in the condition known as Hartnupp's disease. So this large neutral amino acids like isoleucine, leucine, valine, tyrosine, tryptophan, phenylalanine, all these are transported by this large neutral amino acid transporter. So a defect in the neutral amino acid co-transporter can result in the Hartnup disease, while the defect in basic amino acids like arginine, lysine, ornithine, cysteine, etc. can lead to cystinuria. That is, cysteine will be, that is, they are not getting, they are digested of course, but they are not absorbed. So they will be excreted through urine due to the defect in the transporter for basic amino acids. Then there is an acidic amino acids which is transporting glutamic acid and aspartic acid. And there is an amino acid and glycine transporter which transports proline, hydroxyproline, and glycine. And defect in this transporter mechanism can result in the condition known as glycinuria. Now, the pathway with which the mechanism with which the neutral amino acids are absorbed, it is explained by a cycle known as Meester's cycle. What is also known as gamma glutamyl cycle. The pathway is also known as, or the absorption is carried out by a cyclic process known as Meester's cycle. So what is Meester's cycle? Meester's cycle is meant for the absorption of neutral amino acids like glycine. And we have told that there is an entirely different co-transport mechanism for glycine, right? And that pathway is known as the absorption of the neutral amino acids is carried out by a cyclic process known as the Meester's cycle or gamma glutamyl cycle, right? So what is happening? So this is the amino acid. Suppose this is glycine, right? So glycine is now ready for absorption, right? So alanine is now ready for absorption. So how can it be absorbed into the intestine? This absorption by means of co-transport mechanism, and that pathway with which, or the cyclic process with which it is getting absorbed, is known as Mester's cycle, right? So what is Mester's cycle? It is carried out with the help of glutathione. We have heard this name. Glutathione is very much important for maintaining the cell membrane integrity, right? Another function of glutathione is to carry out the Mester's cycle, or the absorption of neutral amino acids. Okay, and where is this present? This gamma glutamyl cycle or the Mester's cycle are functioning principally in the intestine and also in the renal tubules. So we know that proteins should never be excreted through urine, or amino acids should never be excreted through urine, right? So whatever amino acids is reaching the kidneys, they should be taken back. They should be reabsorbed back, right? So that is why the Mester's cycle is located, or it's functioning in the kidney tubules also. Carbohydrate, the same thing was there. Sugar should never be released. Carbohydrate should never be excreted through urine. It's a pathological condition, right? So there also reabsorptive mechanisms are there. Co-transporter, absorptive mechanism, reabsorptive, or the transport systems are present in the renal tubules also. So this is the reason, because the amino acids and carbohydrates should never be excreted through urine. So whatever amino acids is present in the, or they have reached the glomerulus, they will be reabsorbed back, and this reabsorption is carried out by the Mester's cycle. So how is it functioning? It is meant for the absorption of neutral amino acids, right? So amino acids, now we are having the L amino acid after digestion, and if it is a neutral amino acid, the neutral amino acids will be absorbed or reabsorbed in the case of kidney tubules with the help of the Mester's cycle. And for that, this is our cell membrane. Okay, so this cell membrane, or this is the portion which is in connection with the exterior environment and the intestinal epithelial cells. This is our lumen, and this is a brush border, and this is a intestinal epithelial cell. So how is this neutral amino acid taken into the epithelial cells? With the help of this, it's a cyclic process like a TCA cycle. Okay, so there is an enzyme which is located on the cell membrane, which is known as gamma glutamyl transferase. So what happens is that the glutathione, we know that glutathione is a tripeptide made up of glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. That is known as gamma glutamyl cysteanyl glycine. That is actually the glutathione. Gamma glutamyl cysteanyl glycine. So what happens is that glutathione is acted upon by gamma glutamyl transferase enzyme, so that this glutathione, the tripeptide glutathione, that is glutamyl cysteanyl glycine, will be split up into cysteanyl glycine. Gamma glutamyl cysteanyl glycine. Cysteanyl glycine will be coming out, while the gamma glutamic acid will be now combining with this neutral amino acid. This neutral amino acid enters into the cell, and it joins together to give glutamyl amino acid, right? So glutathione, out of the glutathione, the cysteanyl glycine has come out, or it is split up, and the glutamyl group, the gamma glutamyl group alone is now there, and this gamma glutamyl group will immediately make a peptide bond with the neutral amino acid derived from the diet to give rise to gamma glutamyl amino acid. Now this gamma glutamyl amino acid will be undergoing some sort of cyclization. It undergoes a cyclic phenomenon and give rise to oxoproline, another compound known as oxoproline, right? So oxoproline, now again with the help of energy, the oxoproline will be converted into glutamic acid back, right? So glutamyl amino acid will be converted into oxoproline with the release of this amino acid. Now the neutral amino acid is released out. Neutral amino acid എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് Mester's cycle entry there? For absorption. That is, it is to be taken into the epithelial cell, and it is not carried out in such an easy manner. It is carried out with the help of Mester's cycle, which requires glutathione. So glutathione first splits up into cysteanyl glycine and gamma glutamyl group. The gamma glutamyl immediately joins with the L amino acid, that is our neutral amino acid. For example, glycine ആണെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കാം. So gamma glutamyl glycine will be formed. This glycine will be released immediately, and gamma glutamyl group, it cannot exist as such, so it is immediately undergoing a cyclization process to give rise to a compound known as oxoproline. Now the oxoproline is converted into what? Glutamic acid, right? Now this glutamic acid, glutamic acid is now getting converted back into glutathione. So for that, a cysteine glycine was there. Cysteine glycine. So it's a dipeptide, no? Cysteine and glycine joined together. So cysteine glycine, once formed, they splits up with the help of dipeptidase enzyme, right? Intestinal lumen. So dipeptidase to give rise to cysteine and glycine. Now the cysteine immediately joins with glutamate to give glutamyl cysteine. Now this glutamyl cysteine adds the glycine residue to give back our glutathione. So all of this require energy. So it's an energy requiring process, right? So we know that glutathione is a tripeptide in the order gamma, glutamine, cysteine, glycine. If the order is shuffled, for example, glutamic acid, if it is combined with glycine followed by cysteine, it is not more glutathione. It becomes glutathione only if glutamic acid is joined to cysteine followed by its addition to glycine. So that is how the glutathione, in the similar way, all the proteins are synthesized in the body. Clear. Yesterday I've told you that if the order is shuffled, it gives rise to an entirely different product. So glutathione is only glutamyl, gamma, glutamyl, cysteine, and glycine. That is, in the gamma position of the glutamic acid, the cysteine will be getting attached and cysteine will be again getting attached to the glycine. So that gamma, glutamyl, cysteine, and glycine is formed. That is the structure of glutathione. That is a tripeptide. If cysteine is replaced with glycine first, in this order, cysteine and glycine splits to give cysteine and glycine. So if the glutamic acid is first getting attached to glycine rather than cysteine, then we call it as glutamyl glycine, not glutamyl cysteine. Now this glutamyl glycine, if it is getting attached to cysteine, then it is giving rise to an entirely different tripeptide known as glutamyl glycinyl cysteine. So it is no longer, we call it as glutathione. It cannot function, it cannot carry out its normal function. Glutathione is gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine. So the absorption of intact proteins and polypeptides. If it's a newborn baby, it can directly absorb the intact proteins, but the adults cannot carry out the absorption of intact proteins. Then the defects in the intestinal transport system can result in Hartnupp's disease, cystinuria, etc. Okay. Cystinuria, we come across the cystiniurias and Hartnupp's disease in the individual amino acid metabolism. Okay. Now the Hartnupp's disease is characterized by inability of the intestinal and renal epithelial cells to absorb the neutral amino acids. The tryptophan absorption is most severely affected, resulting in conditions known as pellagra. Then Meester cycle. Meester cycles are running in the intestine and kidney tubules and brain. The absorption of neutral amino acids are happening and it is affected by gamma glutamyl cycle. It is carried out by a most important compound known as glutathione, which is gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine, and it reacts with the amino acid to form gamma glutamyl amino acid catalyzed by gamma glutamyl transferase. Now the gamma glutamyl amino acid is then cleaved to give rise to free amino acid. The absorbed neutral amino acid will be immediately released, giving rise to oxoproline. Oxoproline is converted to glutamate, and this glutamate now joins with cysteine to give, in presence of gamma glutamyl cysteinyl synthetase, in presence of one molecule ATP to give rise to glutamyl cysteine. Gamma glutamyl cysteine is again acted upon by the enzyme glutathione synthetase in presence of again one more molecule of ATP to give glutathione. So the Meester cycle consumes 3 molecules of ATP, right? 3 molecules of ATP. That's the energy requirement for carrying out the absorption of the neutral amino acids. So with this, the digestion, absorption of proteins are over, right? And we have also discussed the Meester cycle. So Meester cycle is meant for the absorption of neutral amino acids, so the defect of which can cause Hartnupp's disease and all. Okay, so these neutral amino acids are carried out, absorption carried out with the help of energy molecules, and 3 molecules of ATPs are required for the absorption of the neutral amino acids. So glutathione is a primary substance required for carrying out the Meester cycle. The glutathione first splits up by the enzyme gamma glutamyl transferase, thereby giving rise to cysteine glycine and the gamma glutamyl group. The gamma glutamyl group immediately attracts the neutral amino acid derived from the diet to give gamma glutamyl amino acid. In the next step, by the enzyme gamma glutamyl amino transferase, it releases the amino acid. giving rise to oxoproline. Oxoproline gets converted into glutamic acid by oxoprolinase by ATP.